This is Young for Advanced Property Strategies, and we're back for another episode of one of my podcasts. I love interviewing my rockstar property clients who are doing deals in the current marketplace and making money. I've got Lindsay Fredericks here, actually from ACT, and he's a renovation rockstar. So, hey, Lindsay, how you going, mate?
G'day, how are you?
Yeah, really good, mate, really good, and good to see you, mate. I hear you've been getting a tan at the Gold Coast. You come back from a few days from a workshop with me, so...
Probably sunburn, I'd say, being down here.
Yeah, that's it. So, mate, look, thanks for being with us today and sharing with us, some of your strategies and how you do stuff. Do you want to just share with us, why property and how did you get started on your first, whether it's buy and hold or first renovation project?
Oh, it all just came down to working in an office for a good number of years and, just doing the normal thing that you do and getting your pay and going home and all that, but it just wasn't challenging after that. So I actually just went out a little bit on a whim and looked and decided to buy the worst house I could possibly find. So that's sort of what the ball rolling.
But isn't that scary, going out and buying a trashed house or a termite house or, a meth house? Isn't that pretty scary for most people? They're very visual, so you turn up, you can feel the blood pressure coming up, the goosebumps coming up when there's no kitchen and no bathroom, or the grass is 6 foot high. Scared of snakes?
Yeah, the grass was 6 foot high on that one. Look, it is, and I think you stay within your comfort zone. And for me, it was just a normal suburb in suburbia where I knew houses would sell. Okay, I had a quick look to see what renovated houses would look like. So it's just staying within, particularly my first one. I thought, well, this is so run down, we can't not make money on this.
Yep, love it. And so in terms of Canberra being a marketplace, I know, the world's a huge place and there's so many opportunities out there. I know you live in Canberra, but as a market of choice, why Canberra?
Oh, look, I grew up here. We moved here. I went to high school here, and then college. So my brother lives here as well. So it's basically just, I'd looked around the country. We had done one deal in Goulburn, which is about 100 k's away from Canberra. However, I like it that basically you can travel within your own town. It is sometimes tempting to see bright shiny lights in other cities in Australia, but for me it's far easier to manage the teams and everything actually being in the same city that you live.
Yeah, look, I completely agree, and that's why when people talk to me about choosing suburbs, I talk about three things, as you may recall. One is geography, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes away from you as a max. I know some of those who live in Sydney, that's very, very hard because affordability is huge. Median price being $1 million or so. But ideally, half an hour, 45 minutes away, because then you can manage the project, you can manage the problems, you can manage the teams, you can do inspections. It's very, very, very important for that. So, no, absolutely, mate. So, and in terms of the types of renos you do, I know we probably call them, cosmetic or structural, cosmetic being lipstick and just on the surface, and structural being, knock down walls and extensions and that. Do you want to just give us a scope of the kind of renos that you do and the kind of budgets that you look at?
Yeah, sure. All our stuff is cosmetic. So a lot of people ask me, do you build, new lounge rooms and new family rooms? We don't touch any of that stuff because you then start getting, particularly for Canberra and probably the rest of Australia, as soon as you start building work, you need all building approvals. The government needs to get involved. You pay more fees, and months and months later, you haven't even started. So for my line of work, it was far better to find houses that we could stick to basically the original insides of it. We definitely moved walls around. We put en suites in bedrooms, and we also destroy a lot of kitchens and put them all back in. So it's definitely far better to do that. I haven't, in the last 10 renos, I haven't done anything that's involved adding to the outside of the house. It just takes too long for me.
Yeah, understand. Look, and just a bit of background, Lindsay's done my fast track mentoring program, also known as the Gold program from previous years, and he's also currently in my diamond mentoring program. And so, a lot of times I'll have a go at the clients for doing stuff themselves as opposed to outsourcing it and leveraging it out. So I remember there were times, Lindsay, that you would even look at selling houses yourself or renovating yourself. So do you want to just give people who are, especially beginners, because I know that you've been with me for a few years now and kicking goals, but when people start out, they want to do things themselves. They want to paint themselves. They want to do those things themselves. So give us an idea of your take on that.
Look, I certainly did that in the first one. I thought I could paint, so I did end up painting the inside of the house, and I had to do the ceiling as well, but that was a nightmare. I'd actually found a painter to paint the outside of the house, so I ended up saying to him, look, can you give us a quote to finish it off on the inside? And I think it was $1,500 or something. I said, look, just finish it. I'm sick of it. So you do a lot of that at the start, you've got to be very careful that all deals work if you do the work. So be careful, because you're not factoring in the cost of your own time. So if you're doing all the deals and thinking you're going to make 50 grand and you're doing all the work, it's not actually like that. You really need to factor in how much the tradies are going to cost, and then see what's left at the end, because a lot of people buy these cheap houses and stuff, and in really average suburbs, and then they think, I can paint it myself. Oh, it just needs a bit of tiling. I'll do that. I'll buy the kitchen. I'll put that in. It's like, and you think, okay, I'm going to make 30 grand, 20 grand, but you're probably not. You're probably losing money, because if you factor in the cost of all those tradies in there, that's the 20 and 30 grand. So be careful. You're better off not buying something straight away and actually ringing tradies and finding out what does the work actually cost to get done.
And it's hard for people to get their heads around that, because if you look at a project and it makes 50 grand and all it costs them is, 3 evenings a week and every weekend for the next 6 months, they're going, well, you know what, rather than me going watching the soccer or the cricket, I want to make 50 grand. And I get it, but especially it depends on the game that we're playing, right? When the visions that we have are doing 1, 2, 3, 5 deals at the one time, you just can't be at 5 places at once.
No.
And so it's a time factor and also an energy factor. You can only focus on so many things, and physically painting 5 houses at the one time or renovating is very, very hard. So it's a physical thing as well, and you can only do so much, isn't it? So
and it's if people are working full time and they want to do this, then it's probably in your own interest to find a painter who can paint, because the last thing you want to do is when you finish work at 5:36, whatever, is then go, oh darling, I'm going over to the reno, just do some work, and what's your other half going to say? It's not going to be popular, and you're going to burn yourself out. You work till midnight, and then you got to go to work the next day and go there on the weekend. Like, the novelty really will wear off very quickly. Getting people to, that's the whole idea of getting people to do the work, so you don't have to. You could go there after work and just make sure that the tasks you'd set for the day have been done, but you're not actually there with the paintbrush.
Yeah, exactly. And look, starting off, I do encourage people to, if they want to and they're inclined to, I do encourage them to do it themselves initially, just to either feel the love or feel the pain, whichever they experience there. And I say, give it a go. And then after 1 or 2, you'll get over it pretty quickly, especially more so if you're wanting to do multiple projects. Especially if you want to do multiple projects, you'll find that the pressure will be too much, especially performance timeframes as well. If you're doing it part-time on weekends after work, it's very, very hard to perform, especially you might be at work and having the painter or the tiler or the plumber there during the day. So then there's the next question there, Lynn, from your point of view, is managing people, because oftentimes people want to do it themselves because they don't think other people will do it, to their standards. So give us some tips on that and how you manage that.
Yeah, look, we all like to control our own lives and think we are, but we're not really. It's all in control by others. So it's that's really what you've got to be thinking about. if you really want to be on top of it, you can start creating lists and these sorts of things for your tradies. So make sure you do it like that. But if you think you can't get past that and you've got to be on site, then look, give it a go. You might be able to do it. I would be thinking that you probably really want to create lists and also talk a lot to the tradies rather than trying to be thinking you'll be able to control everything, because in Reno, it's all the great unknowns, and you'll freak yourself out if you think you can control everything. There's unknowns, and particularly as you're starting off, you've got to learn this stuff. Look, you can do the courses. There's lots of Reno courses, all that out there, but at the end of the day, you've just got to pull the trigger and actually go and buy something. And, maybe you buy something that is maybe a 2 or a 3 bedroom, something small to get started with, but I wouldn't be saying to people, go out and buy a 5 bedroom house with a swimming pool that's totally run down for your first gig, unless you're a full-time renovator and you can put your heart and soul into it.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I think let's go through a couple of tips that we can give some of the beginner renovators. But before we do that, I agree with what you're saying, especially if you're starting out and you're doing a bit of work yourself. It allows you, yes, you do save costs, but you also get a feel for what costs are as well. When you go to Bunnings, how much kitchen, bathroom, second-hand kitchen, bathroom on eBay, Gumtree, things like that. To save costs, and you get an idea of what labourers cost, $50 an hour or $1 per square metre rates for tiles, tins of paint, paint brushes, and some costs you can reuse and some you can't. But my point is, think big and start small. I know a lot of the TV shows impact people, what they do. Look, instruction lists are very, very important. Communication is the key. Communication is the key. And after a while, if you can, you'll get some teams of tradespeople that have worked with you before. They know how you like to do things, but definitely putting things on paper, going through things with people can work. If it's hot and heavy, you can turn up once a day in the morning when they turn up at 6:30 to inspect their work, or of an afternoon, depending on, but the thing is they generally leave around about 2:30, depending on the trade. Learning how to inspect, learning how to instruct, learning how to supervise, but not be a micromanager, because nobody likes a micromanager. You'll definitely slow things down. But it's a fail fast process where you got to find your own management style and how you can trust and delegate at the same time get the result that you want. So it's a balancing act. I personally prefer not to do renovations. I can't say that I'm a skilled renovator. A lot of my clients in my programs, I'd say, are a lot better at renovating and making money through renos than I am, but that's not my niche and it's not my chosen field, but it doesn't matter. You can still make money through other means, but as long as it makes money for these guys, I'm more than happy to encourage them to do it, right? So let's brainstorm, Lindsay, just a handful of things. We've got probably another 5 minutes or so with you in terms of potential renovation strategy. So, I like the 3-bedroom thing where you have a 2-bedder or a 3-bedder and you're adding an extra bedroom, by just putting up a couple extra walls and a door. Do you have any preferred, cosmetic structural strategies that you can recommend these guys?
Oh, definitely. There's quite a few. I mean, that's definitely one. Move the wall. Another one is, depending on your skill level, a lot of the ones we do now actually are adding an ensuite in. So some of the bigger houses, we've actually managed to chop a bit off the master and actually put an ensuite in. And I'm only talking ensuite would be a metre wide by probably the width of the room. So it's something like that. Adds a lot of value. We sort of do little bits of reconfiguring of the main bathroom. They would be some of the main ones that I do. And look, paint goes a long way as well. You might be thinking, oh, the colour's okay, but really I would be painting inside and out, freshen it up. Flooring will make a difference. Kitchen, definitely. And depending on your market and where you're sitting, you may see if you can find a second-hand kitchen off Gumtree that's got a nice top on it. You could certainly do that, but I'd be probably looking at Bunnings and getting the flyers for the kitchens and working out, okay, a base kitchen might have, say, 10 cabinets in it. So going in, working out the price of how much those cabinets are, how much is the bench top. So it's those sorts of things that you want to do a bit of research, but they'll certainly add super high value, and even on the outside, a bit of landscaping as well.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, my basic rule of thumb that I like to look at when I'm doing a cosmetic reno is about 20K, and I break it into 4 parts. It might be 5K in the kitchen, 5K in the bathroom, 5K internally, and 5K externally. So 5K internally could be painting inside, some floor coverings. 5K externally is painting outside, maybe a fix of a fence, a lean-to, i.e. carport. You may have to get that approved by council, some turf. And yeah, with the kitchen and bathroom, what Lindsay's saying is you can get a lot of good second-hand stuff. There's always, people with high-end houses might only be 5-10 years old, and they're ripping it out and upgrading to a 50, 100 grand kitchen, so what's already there may not be in any bad nick. You might just have to pay a carpenter or a cabinet maker to go take it out. And yeah, you'll get some really good stone bench tops that are really, really, quality. But yeah, it's a jigsaw puzzle and Tetris of fitting it in to,
that's right.
your space.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's certainly a strategy for lower end properties doing that, but you will run into that problem, like Young just said, fitting it in, because there's nothing worse than a half-fitted kitchen that you're trying to sell this thing, and they'll look at it and go, oh, gee, this is sort of half done. So, you probably get to that point where the cabinets aren't really that much at Bunnings, and you could even do like a wooden top on the thing and have a professional, nice-looking kitchen, probably not that much realistically.
Yeah. So, Linz, just a couple more questions before we wrap it up. Appreciate your time today. I remember you were telling me, or the slides that you're showing me of, I think, a meth house that had no kitchen and no bathroom, and you had trouble financing it and all that. Do you want to just tell these guys the quick story of 1, how you found it, 2, what the problems you had with it, and 3, what the game plan was to make profit from it?
So that we were emailing agents, just saying we wanted run down houses or deceased estates, preferably that hadn't hit the market, because once they hit the market, you're competing with everybody. And the guy just said, look, here's the address, do a drive-by if it's sort of what you're after. So we zipped down there, and here was this basically rectangle, brick, 3-bedroom house, no windows, no doors, no kitchen, half the ceiling missing. Probably the only thing left was they stripped the bathroom there, so it still had the hallway. The roof was on it, that was fine. So yeah, we couldn't get a loan on it because you can't get a loan on something you can't actually live in. So we just basically negotiated with the seller to have 90 days settlement and early access. So really, the seller had nothing to lose because you can't damage the house any more than this thing was. You'll strike that if you want early access, that people carry on. Oh, they might pull the kitchen out. Look, there was no problem here because there was no kitchen. So basically, so we went in there, had no loan. I paid 5% deposit on the thing. So we just had to really rip through it, get everything done, and then we basically got a bank loan. The valuer came round. We had all the furniture in. Oh, lovely home, blah, blah, blah. And here's your loan. So it was actually quite a good one. I think, 5% down is probably all we paid on that, and use an investor to fund the rest of it. So, you may think that story is sort of, oh, that's a bit weird, but these houses are out there, so the way to go is be emailing the agents and ringing them, or pay someone else like I do to do all that stuff, because it's not something that really interests me. I'm more like the deal and doing the work. So that'd definitely be another tip too. Start emailing agents and getting to know them. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, just put a little ad on Airtasker, which is where you find people to do jobs for you. So that's another site to have a look at.
Very good, mate. Very good. So profit on that and time frame from settlement to settlement, can you recall?
We had to do it in 90 days, otherwise we was, it wasn't going to be looking good for us. So I think the it didn't really take that long because there was just a lot of plasterboard, new kitchen, all that sort of stuff, bathroom.
Yes.
So I think it was probably done in about 6-8 weeks. That one, I did miss the boat a bit on the selling price, so we ended up being with it longer than what I thought we would, and the wrong strategy, so that's a whole nother ball game. But look, at the end of the day, I think we walked away with about 60 grand from that one.
Very nice, mate. Yeah, you didn't have to finance it for 90
No,
days because there's no kitchen and no bathroom, no windows. Yeah.
nothing. Yeah,
Very good,
cracker.
mate. Very good. So, yeah, just so that if people want to check out your projects online, I believe you're on Instagram with We Love Renovating. Do you want to share
Yeah.
anything else, about how people get in touch with you or see what work that you do and get involved in your projects?
Yeah. Look, Instagram's a good one. If you're on Instagram, just go down the bottom there where the little microscope is, and actually just type it. It'll give you the search bar. Just type in "We Love Renovating," all one word, and you'll see me there. So, yeah, and you can send me messages and that through that if you want to, or give us a follow. So, yeah, that'll be the way to go.
Good stuff, good stuff. Yeah, if you have a look at Lindsay's Instagram page there, yes, there's some shocking photos of befores and afters, which is really,
Yeah,
really cool. And if you're into that shock factor, this is the real block. When people go and do the block and stuff like that, it's not with their own money. If they stuff it up, it doesn't matter. They can walk away. It's a TV show after all.
yeah,
With Lindsay's projects, it's real. Like it is real, and they're solving real problems with real houses. So, Lindsay, thanks
yeah.
again, buddy. Really appreciate your time, and yeah, hope the weather's getting good there, mate. With the rain and the hail and the smoke, and mate, you guys been getting the dog's
Yeah,
breakfast, everything, mate. So, can't wait for you to come back to the coast, mate, and yeah, go to the beach together.
yeah, no worries. Sounds good.
Awesome, buddy. Thanks heaps.